Hello, welcome back to the podcast. Great to have you here with us for another week, and hope you've enjoying what you're listening to. If you are, please do give us a like or subscribe or recommend us to other people so we can help them as well. So this week I want to talk about a word that is a key word in my vocabulary, and I want to share it with you so hopefully it become one of yours as well, which is the word accountability. And I wanted to talk about the importance of accountability in life and in sales and in business, and hopefully you're going to resonate with some of the things that I'm going to share with you in regard to this. But why is this a word I use often? Because, well, it's one of my 5 values. So one of the key things that I encourage people to have is, it's a process I went through a number of years ago, were to write down or to create and identify the 5, or maybe you can have 6 or 7, but this, maybe 4 to 5 is better, values that define who you are and what you're about. And they're values that I've used in my companies, but they're personal values that I have myself. And accountability is one of those values. By the way, the others are, for me personally, it's passion, respect, learning and quality. So those are my accountability are my 5 values that I try and hold myself account to on a regular basis to live the life that I want to. And accountability for me, and where I position accountability and what it is being responsible. It's being able to literally look at a scenario and I'm responsible for that. I'm accountable for that. And there are many times in my life when I've had to had some shit times and some difficult moments, and sometimes when I've been unlucky as well. But in all of those cases, there's only one person that's accountable, and that's me. And I'm a big believer that it's very easy for people to say and blame other people. As salespeople especially, we get that a lot, where we blame the client, or we blame someone internally that didn't do something for us, or we blame a situation, an external factor happening, rather than being accountable and looking in the mirror and saying, okay, it was your fault. What could you have done differently? And one of the things that I think and you may not like these words, by the way, if you're one of these people that sits and thinks, I don't think it's always my issue, I'm going to challenge that and say, there's always a reason, there's always an excuse. But I think most people that are the ultra successful ones don't blame other people. They don't put other reasons for their own failures in the way. They look in the mirror squarely and say, I'm accountable. And they're able to look back and say, what could I have done at different stages in that journey or that process to change things? And there are times when it's difficult to work out what that is. It's time to work out, how could I have done something differently? But maybe you could have asked a different question. Maybe you could have worked harder to find information out. For an example of this, which is interesting actually, there's a guy I'm working with that's got a tender process that he's going through at the moment. And the tender process is to do a piece of work for a client. And I can sense already that if they lose the tender, that he's going to blame other things. And it's a bit weird sometimes when I think about it, because I think actually, if I was in that situation there, yes, of course, I could blame the fact that the incumbent provider had a better offering, or they had a different relationship, or whatever else. But actually, I'm accountable for not finding that information out, or for not being able to ask the right questions to know whether I can affect the decision. And if I can't affect the decision, then I might not propose that or move forward for that tender. So I think the whole nature to me around accountability is being able to take ownership. That's the other great word I use, take ownership. Don't look at blaming someone else. The best leaders, the best business people, don't look around the room. They are responsible, and they understand that in order to change things, they've got to take on. And when you're accountable, what does it do? One of the other things around it makes a really important thing is it builds a sense of trust. So when I talk to people around being accountable, and in a good case of accountability is when you're in a situation, might be you have been in a situation. So let's say you forecasted some numbers to happen. And people might say, I couldn't make that number happen because of this and this reason. Or you could turn up and say, I forecasted we'd hit this number. I didn't hit the number. I now know why that is. I'm really sorry it's happened. I'm responsible for it. I'm going to put in plans to change it if I get given the chance again. Now, if someone came to me as a sales leader and said that sentence there, or, it couldn't happen because there was this problem here and there was an excuse here and it's not my fault this happened here, I would always be the first person. I'd always think, wow, fair play to you. You were the person that looked in the mirror and said, I'm the person that's accountable. I need to take ownership for this. And I'd be asking them questions such as what made them get it wrong, and what lessons have they learned, and how have they implemented the lessons in order to ensure it didn't happen again. But I would always be looking for that person rather than the person that's trying to be Teflon shouldered and blame someone else for it. So I think the key thing that you've got to do and think in a sales situation is build trust with people. You need to be, sometimes with buyers as well, you also have to be accountable, especially when things go wrong, or especially with customers, things go wrong. And again, people will make excuses, or they try and, and I've been there, I've done it. Again, I'm not saying I'm some sort of perfect person who's never made these mistakes. I've done these things and done them wrong. But actually, when you're in a customer scenario or a prospect scenario and you try and bullshit your way out of it, or you own up and say, we got it wrong. I'm sorry, we got it wrong. You may not want to work with us again. You may not want to be able to forgive us for that, but we made a mistake and we can't change it. Now, all we can do is try and fix from it and learn from it again. Or versus some excuse. I'd rather have the honesty. People prefer honesty and authenticity than they do some sort of bullshitty, slimy way of trying to get out of things. So when you have that accountability and you're open and honest with people and truthful about things, it stands up. And providing that you're then accountable across all of your actions and what you're doing, then it's a huge factor in conversations to have. And there are times again in my life when I've done things wrong or got things badly, mistakes I've made, and other people have criticised me for it. And I've been at times wanting to go, if you watched on the video, I've times wanted to go up yours and stick a finger up to them and say F you to them. And then I thought about it afterwards and thought, they're right, actually. I'm at fault here. It's not me. It's not. It's easy to blame. It's easier to say that someone else is at fault. I could have done better. And actually, it's funny enough, I'm presenting at an event next Tuesday, actually. And it's called, by the way, if you're listening with kids around, little warning, it's called Fuck Up Clubs. And I'm presenting at an event, might have already happened by the time this podcast comes out. And I'm presenting about it's an event. It's a worldwide group, actually. It's about 250 cities now. It's called Fuck Up Nights. And the whole idea of it is people always talk about how successful they've been, but they never talk about the mistakes they've made. And I'm going to talk about a mistake I made with the previous business where I, made a huge amounts of mistakes and got things wrong. And I'm open to those failures because I'm accountable for them. It's me that's at fault. It's not someone else. I'm at fault. I could have done better. And even though there were circumstances and things happened with people and situations, I always look at myself in the mirror and say it was my issue. So that accountability will build trust, and in a sales situation, it does make people trust you more, providing you can then implement and change alongside it. If you keep on, saying something and then doing something different and trying to be accountable and say, I'm sorry again, people won't forgive you. But invariably, you get one or two chances to do that. But again, the final thing to add to finish on this podcast is to be accountable for yourself. And I guess the question is to ask you, who are you accountable to? And if you're saying I'm in a sales role, you're probably going to say to my sales manager or leader or director, and that's fine. But, who are you, if you're a business owner, who are you accountable to? And one of the big things that people come to me for mentoring is they like the accountability that I'll hold them to account for. They say they want to hit a plan. And I say, okay, what makes that plan so important? We have a conversation. They go, great, I want to do it. And I'm going, right, okay, let's make it happen. And I hold them to account for making that plan happen. And if there's excuses and things that can go in the way, but I'm like, right, you told me you wanted to make it happen. You said it was critical for you. What went wrong? What did we do wrongly? So I think it's really critical for you to be able to hold yourself to account. And like I say, I don't expect anyone listening to this to literally reach out to me and say, James, yeah, I got it all wrong and it's my fault. But what I would say to you to do is to go back home tonight in your quiet moments, maybe before you go to bed or when you get up in the morning, or have 10 minutes on your own, and write down the things that you're not happy about and write down who's at fault for those. And I bet you, in most cases, the answer should be you, okay, that it's at fault for. You should be accountable for those issues. And even if it's, you might say it was an act of God, or, it was a flood, it was a bolt of lightning. Of course, I guess those things, you can't change the elements around those aspects, of course. But most things in life, 90% of the things we do, we could have done differently. I know when I've been caught speeding before, for example, on a road, and I was sort of saying, oh, well, it was something that happened. I didn't see the signs on the motorway properly or whatever else. And sadly, I got caught the other month, and I was like, I was looking at the signs, I couldn't have been. And in the end, I was like, hey, don't be such a dick, James. It was your fault. You should have looked at the signs. You should have been more aware. I'm at fault. Take the punishment. I got the punishment. I got the points on my license and paid the fine. Right? It's life. So be accountable. So I guess the question to you is, who's going to hold you to account? And one of the reasons why mentoring is so popular, and again, it's something, if I can help you with, then reach out to me. It's something I do with people. It's something I work with people on. But whoever you work with, who's holding you to account? If you want to hit a big sales number this year, let's say you've got a business that's growing and you want to go from 5 million to 10 million, who's going to hold you to account? If that's yourself, great. If you've got that self-discipline or other people that you just need, that great. But it becomes harder sometimes as we grow and build and we experience problems. And sometimes having mentoring can help you to overcome some of those challenges together. But my question to you is, who's going to hold you to account? Ideally, you want it to be yourself, but sometimes to hold ourselves to account is to ask other people to be involved or to share what we're going to do with other people as a result of it. You know, there was a great guy that we've just recording this podcast just after the London. And there was a guy that a year or so ago, I think he said that he was going to run the London Marathon with a fridge on his back. And he, everyone was like, yeah, whatever. And he was like, no, I'm going to hold myself account to it. And he finished the London Marathon a couple of days ago with a fridge on his back. He ran the whole 27 miles with a fridge, on his back, which, fair play, I don't think the fridge was plugged in. I don't think the extension even was that long, joke, wasn't it? But the point being is he ran the whole thing with a fridge on his back because he said it to other people he was going to do that. So sometimes holding ourselves to account and delivering on what we say incredibly inspires other people and helps other people see that they can be the same thing. So look, that's why a quick podcast this week around accountability. My answer to you is, what are you accountable for? Who are you accountable to? And how do you make accountability work in your life? How do you ensure that for the things you want to do, that you don't blame others, you don't make excuses, that you get it done? I'm intrigued to know what your thoughts are on that. Let me know in the comments section. I'd love to know how you see the word accountability and ownership and how it enables you to take control of your situation. And I hope it does. And I hope you're able to do things that enable you to get the results that you want in your business. But as I always say, in everything we do in life, whether it's fitness, whether it's weight, whether it's business, whether it's success, whether it's learning an instrument, playing a sport, ultimately it's down to us to want it enough and put the effort in and time and consistency to get the results that we need. And if we do that, we get where we want to be. So look, I always finish the podcast with an inspirational story as normal, and I'm going to use the story of a lady called Claire Lomas today. So Claire Lomas had to endure some incredibly dark days, sadly, because she had a horse riding accident which left her paralysed from the chest down. And she was hoping to have an incredible life in sports and whatever else. And she had such tough time after this accident happened. But she made the headlines worldwide in 2012. And I just talked about the London Marathon a moment ago. And she walked the London Marathon she walked it in a robotic suit that was made for her. And it took her 17 days. Now, people talk about the marathon, some people I know were doing it in 3 hours, 40 minutes. She took 17 days to get that done, but she made it happen. And she's now raised over £850,000 for charity. So Claire Lomas, she's been made an MBE, rightly so, for her incredible achievements. And she's now, a speaker and an inspirational person to come and speak at events and to talk. And I thought about it, I was thinking, right, wow, someone again's had a tough time, something's happened to them that's most of us would never even want to happen, but she's overcome that and decided to pursue her goals and become an inspiration to so many people. So what can you be? How can you take inspiration from that? How can you use Claire Lomas's case to be able to inspire yourself and other people to do what you want to do? And I hope you can. I hope you can take those insights to become the life and build the life you want to and achieve everything you want and be accountable for your own success. Claire was accountable for her situation. She she dealt with it and overcame it and is now leading and inspiring other people. So how can you do the same thing? So that's it. As I say, thank you so much for listening. I always say to people that without you guys as listeners, then there's no point in me doing a podcast. I'm so grateful to you for giving me your ears. I'm so thankful to you that you've given me your time today. And I just wanted to say, I hope that what I'm sharing with you is giving value and helping you achieve things in your life and business. That's what my mission is. And if it is, please do let me know. Sometimes, it's great to hear comments that the podcast is helping people and working for them. I'd love to hear those comments from you. But whatever it's doing, I'll look forward to sharing another episode with you next week. Have a safe week until then. See you soon. Take care. Bye.